Welcome to Ask. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. If you haven't already, it really helps. Thanks.
At times, I really want to believe in the people that are making decisions for me. But in the past few years, it's been less and less. It's taken me back to the time of the Vietnam War, when I couldn't trust the government at all.
I don't trust the U.S. government, but you might say that they're so predictable that, it's not really much of a question whether to trust something that's an autonomous, process. But no, first of all, you've got the Congress mess, the 535 people who behave so predictably. Their parties vote in lockstep, and nobody knows. They all vote unanimously, right, for their party. But who's the one who says what the vote's going to be? So then you get back to the RNC and the DNC, who have 500-ish members, and then they don't release the names of their. This is the Democratic National Committee that makes policy for the Democrats, and then they won't release the identities of all the people. So anyway. But I do trust civil service, employees. I think they, on the whole, are quite. In fact, I was a CPA for 25 years, and I did audits of a lot of government entities, and they're all doing their job as best they can. So yeah, I trust the government itself.
Not now. The current administration, no. The Biden administration and the Biden administration, yes. And I've even trusted some of the prior Republican administrations, not on everything, but on some things. This one's too radical and too mean to the people.
That's a big question. I've worked for the government before. A lot of my life I worked as a backcountry park ranger, and I believe in the government, that we need a strong federal government, and as well as state and local. But these days, it's I do not trust what's happening right now.
Not now. With Trump regime in control, I don't trust it much at all. For example, I used to trust the CDC, not anymore. I don't trust federal law enforcement. I don't trust the Supreme Court. I don't trust a lot of Congress, particularly the Republicans, some Democrats. I think it's time to get money out of politics and return representation to the people, not big money.
Lack of empathy and skill. The people that are in charge aren't trained in what they're doing. They're just all put in there by Trump or his hench people, and they really aren't specialists in what they're doing.
Donald Trump is the biggest problem we have right now. It's a clear, aggressive assault on democracy and pushing toward fascism. You can quibble about whether it's fascism or authoritarianism, same thing. They're trying to take away our rights and destroy our democracy, make sure there's not a fair and free election in 2026. And yeah, that's where I am with that.
Right now, I believe it's the income inequality, that we have Citizens United, which lets corporations be equal to citizens and therefore are able to buy their way into the government. And so I'd say that's the biggest problem right now.
I would say communication. They have a really hard time communicating with all the different classes that are out there. They speak to their base and forget that there are many other groups of people that have different values, have different dreams, have different lifestyles. So they need to communicate with everybody.
Well, the U.S. government, like I was saying earlier, the U.S. government is an instrument for someone. It's an instrument for the deep state, for the 10 biggest lobbies, the military complex, pharmaceutical complex, foreign policy complex. So what's the biggest problem? Well, the biggest problem is the American people aren't well informed, and that the origins of that problem are the institutions of mass culture, including the media, the school system, universities, and the pulpit, and lesser things like the libraries and so forth, labor unions. These are operated and controlled from the top down, okay? And so the message comes down from elites, basically. The people who own the media and the people who fund the churches. These are the people who have misled America, and which has resulted in a very poorly educated public. So that's the biggest problem with the government, is the voters, and the problem with the voters originates in institutions of mass culture, which persist over generations. So it's not something that can change overnight.
Right now, yes. They're destroying trust. They're just flooding the airwaves with misinformation. A democracy depends on an informed citizenry, and this is the opposite of what this government is trying to do. And it's not going to hold. They're going to be held accountable. Like Pritzker said the other day, we're taking names, and there will be accountability for this. This is not the way our country works. This is not America.
At this time, yes. It really depends who's in office and how well the executive branch and the congressional branch are working together. Many times when one's on one side and one's on the other side, they forget that communication, again that word, and compromise is what's needed in order to keep this country on track.
Right now, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that it is. Like I said earlier, I really believe that the government has a role and a purpose that can benefit everyone, because everyone has different needs. And so right now, though, there's no doubt in my mind that problems are being created every day and multiplying.
Oh, good heavens, no. The government is a reflection of the culture and the decisions of millions of people. And it is as good as in any country. It reflects, as well as any country, the character and the culture of the population. And so the real, if you want to get to the prime movers or the original root of the problem, it's if there's a problem, is the what the American people think they know and what they think they want.
Definitely. Look at what Elon Musk did, and ICE. They're just making things worse. The economy's going in the tank, although the stock market's doing well, but who wins with that? The wealthy and some of the middle class, but it's much more terrible. Lots of people lost their jobs, not only in the government, from the Doge, but also I know lots of people that lost their jobs as that rippled down into the economy. No grants, then, colleges, all the people that do research. It's just awful.
This government is getting worse. It has become a fascist, authoritarian regime that scares the heck out of me. I was born in 1945. I'm a first-generation American. My mother and father came over as young children, escaping fascism. So my home as a child was filled with dinner discussions of the evils of fascism. We lost our whole family in the Holocaust. And so it was a very important topic for our family, and so that's what I bring to the table as I've gotten older.
I would say the U.S. government is definitely getting worse. The momentum is going that way right now with Trump, but the momentum is changing. Look at this. And it's growing all the time, where more and more people are aware of what's going on. Trump is becoming laughable, and it's just not going to hold water. We're turning the tide, and we're not going to have fascism. We're going to have democracy, and when we're through with this, we're going to have a stronger democracy than we have right now.
Well, I think that because of things that happened during the Ronald Reagan administration, deregulating things and letting wealth speak more than individuals, ever since that time, before that we had corporations paying their fair share, whereas now they don't. And so it has been getting worse, but my hope is that we can turn that around and make it work for all of us, because I really believe it can.
Much worse. I mean, democracy is just crumbling. We'll get it back eventually, but what they're doing is insane, hurtful, revenge. Nothing that a government should do, regardless of what type of government it is.
Well, I'm going to say the leadership of the government is getting worse, absolutely worse. I don't think in my lifetime, I'm 73, I've never seen anything like the current batch of misleaders at the top of this country. And listen, I don't watch MSNBC or anything like that. I'm not a doctrinaire Democrat. In fact, I'm anti-Democrat. I'm a third party. But no, it's definitely getting worse. They're stripping away the things that people need, cutting funding for services, for universities, for schools, they've cut my Medicare and my Social Security. They're chipping away at Social Security, literally, as we speak. This isn't the kind of government we need. There's plenty of wealth in America, but it's being funneled to the top. Of course, there's 800 billionaires living in America, and they're on a roll. Their income and wealth is doubling and tripling. Meanwhile, the people in the middle class, our wealth is being whittled away. Our services and our support's being whittled away. The funding we used to get from the federal government is being whittled away so that we have to pay for our stuff out of our own pockets now. Well, I mean, what do we need a federal government for? Why do we pay federal income taxes if nothing comes back to our state? So, yeah, it's getting worse.
Yeah, I believe that the U.S. government is not representing the people and the vast majority of people. And so therefore, I do not feel good about our government. And you can call it corrupt, you can call it misguided, all different things. But right now, it's not representing the will of the people.
In many ways, yes. I think it all has to do with greed, money. They're getting so much money from the big corporations that are out there, and it doesn't help people to have trust and faith when they're doing things for money and not for consciousness.
Absolutely, the U.S. government is now very corrupt. When you look at what Trump and all his oligarch friends are doing to plunder the nation, big, beautiful bill. What's beautiful about taking food away from kids? What's beautiful about that?
Well, I don't understand your use of the term U.S. government, because there's several things you're talking about here. There's the federal agencies that, everything from Social Security and housing and education. These are agencies of the federal branch. And then there's these are individuals who work for the government. So when you say the government, the word government itself means to govern. Okay, well then you're talking about the FBI, national security, governing, right? And most governing is actually done by state and local police agencies. What we need to focus on isn't the word government, it's the word administration. You should ask these questions: is the administration getting worse? Is the functioning of democracy getting worse? Those are the questions I would ask.
Oh, definitely. It's blatantly corrupt. They tell you it's corrupt. Look at what he's doing. All the departments that are supposed to be independent of the executive branch, they're not anymore. That's as corrupt as you can get.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment and share to help be part of a larger conversation. See you again soon.